Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Lexi, and I'm here with Iwa. I am sitting with our founding lawyer, Mr. Simon,
Hello.
and we have Steve and Susie from Tribal Vapor that have been so kind to join us for our roundtable corner table. And we're going to be talking about vapes and coffee and good food, and we'll probably talk about law about here and there a little bit. So I'll go ahead and let you guys take us away.
So I'm Simon Safer. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We are here with Steve and Susie. Steve and Susie has been a part of our lives for many years now, and we have seen and done things together that many people would love to know about, but we're not going to talk about it.
There's no pictures of that cruise. We don't talk about that cruise.
Yeah, we don't talk about that cruise. We definitely don't talk about that cruise. But yes, Steve and Susie here have been an integral part of our lives for the past 8-9 years, and so it is definitely an honor for us to have them as our first interviewers, and thank you all for being here with us.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
asking
having
us
us.
and
Yeah.
having us.
So here we are at Tribal Vapor. I don't know if you can really see too much. The logo, of course, you can see right there.
It's your home away from home, right?
It is
Yep.
definitely home away from home.
Most definitely.
It's absolutely beautiful. If you guys haven't been to the shop, you should come in. The artwork is gorgeous. Who did your artwork, by the way?
There were a few. We had Isaac Brown did the murals, and he does a lot of the murals in like Deep Ellum and a lot through Austin and stuff. We were lucky to have him come in and paint the murals. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Isaac
Yeah.
Brown actually painted something for my mom for her 60th birthday, or my parents for
wow.
their 40th anniversary.
Wow.
I remember that, and it was like them in Vancouver, like looking into the horizon or something. It was a painting that he did. It was beautiful. Now that you mention it, I gotta find it because
Wow.
it was
That's
amazing.
cool.
Small world.
It's small world, that's
Yeah.
right. But yes, the Tribal Vapor here is a vape shop here in Dallas, Texas, located at 8989 Forest Lane, Suite 108, right next to Yamasushi. I'm sure many of y'all know about Tribal Vapor, Steve and Susie, and definitely know about Yamasushi, one of the best sushis here in Dallas. A hole in the wall that you'll,
Love.
if you haven't been there, you need to go for
Most
sure.
definitely.
Absolutely.
But Tribal Vapors, tell us, how did this start? How did you come up with the idea of Tribal Vapors?
Well, originally I had worked for another vape company, and I was with them for about 4 years and found a passion for it. And I was the manager and some own percentage of each shop. And
My vapes.
you know what's funny is I was a smoker for a lot of years, and we tried everything from patches to just cold turkey, and nothing seemed to work. Uh, I had another friend come to me with a vape and gave it to me to try it out, and at first it didn't work so well, and then I had the opportunity to go to work for the same person, and I actually was able to quit, and it's been 9 years on February.
That's
So,
awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So Tribal Vapors started first with a line of juices,
Yeah.
which you created and designed and mastered and
Taste tested.
taste tested. I was a part of the taste
Yeah,
testing,
most
which
definitely.
I
Yeah.
definitely have in my
Yeah.
You were a part of the idea.
yeah. So we're talking about how did Tribal Vapors itself come into existence, and where did the idea come from? Tell
Well,
us that story.
Simon and I were sitting on the couch and watching one of my favorite shows, which is Shark Tank, and that's I can sit and watch that for hours. And we were watching these people make deals, business deals, and Simon had looked at me and he's like, "Why are you making all this money for somebody else? It's time for you to make it on your own." And he kind of gave me a timeline, and I told him my idea about, well, I got an idea for this juice line, and da 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 da, and I kind of went into the detail of what it would be called and what the flavors would be, and what the names of the juices would be. And
What are those names?
so there's Big Chief, which is like a cream brulee with Fuji apple. There's White Buffalo, which is like a white macadamia nut cookie with a marshmallow. We have Firewater, which is like a cinnamon pastry, which is crafted just for my buddy right there, Simon.
My favorite.
That was
That's
his
same
baby.
as Simon's
Yeah.
juice.
And then we have a Rain Dance, which is like a fruit mixture with a little bit of cucumber in it. So that's how that started. But Simon held my feet to the fire, and he's like, well, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and I want to have you have that all written down, and
So like a business plan.
yeah, it was like basically the first little business plan. It was the first project, and that's where it started. So the next day he called me, and I had it written down, and the next thing you know, we're crafting these flavors, and that was in 2016. So we started selling it to other shops. We got a packer and a co-packer that does it for us in the labs. And so that was the very first branch of Tribal Vapor.
So you're the packer, to go into that, your juices, because there's a lot of talks right now of foreign made juices and whatnot. Your packer's here in the Dallas area, right?
Yeah, he's located.
He has a clean room and everything that he does here in Dallas, and
It's a OSHA certified. It's a pretty amazing setup that he has. It's actually got elevated floors, and it's pretty amazing to watch the whole process. Yeah.
full filtration system.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, temperature and humidity is all. Yeah.
So it's this is something that you know personally, that these products are made here locally, by someone that it's not coming from somewhere elsewhere,
Right.
And it's a 100% trusted source, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah. That's good, because we, with the talks right now, with the vape laws and everything, the concern of vitamin E acetate, right, or vitamin K acetate, what was it?
So the whole deal on that was there was bad publicity on the vape community a while back, and they were talking about the vitamin E being put into the vapes, and what it was stuff that was being sold on the street. So people were literally getting like THC, and they were mixing it with the vitamin E. When you vape vitamin E, it'll turn into vapor, but then when you inhale it, it coats the lungs, right? So there were all these kids that were ending up in the hospital. And part of it was they didn't want to get honest with mom and dad and go, hey, I've been smoking pot. They wanted to blame it on I was vaping, So the truth kind of came out. There's a lot of legal stuff that hadn't really been talked about. There's the master settlement agreement where they were literally where Big Tobacco was being sued by the states for advertisement for children, right? So all these states are collecting money from Big Tobacco off their profit margin every year. And there were certain states that didn't have the patience to wait for that money. So they created bonds, right? So they sold these bonds to get their money right away because they knew profitable, because Big Tobacco always makes a big profit. Well, the electric cigarettes came out, and the profit slowly started dwindling away to like 36, 37%, right? So all these states that had made these bonds, the bonds are due. They need to be paid. So the only way that they're going to get that back is to bring the Big Tobacco back up, right? So that's part of the deal. It's kind of, I don't want to sound biased, but it's a little bit of blood money. There's a lot underneath it, because like in the UK, they're actually building vape shops inside of hospitals and stuff, because they're doing, the government is actually promoting, hey, we want you to vape, don't smoke, So it's like there's a lot there.
Well, getting back to the whole vaping was causing these kids to go into the hospital. There was finally a blip on the news. The CDC said, oh yeah, this was black market vape.
By the way,
but it wasn't like all over the news, like in the beginning, how it was, oh, vaping is so bad, it's terrible, because it's not, if you're going, legally to the.
And also, I'd like to side note, Susie, you have firsthand experience with this because you are a nurse. You're on the front lines. Thank you for your service. And so Susie is our local hero. Susie not only worked through COVID, but Susie is also our token Ebola nurse. So Susie has seen quite some horrors, and she's also here. You're the we call you, I say Simon is the head, I am the neck, he is the head, you are the neck.
Yeah.
You are also here doing bookkeeping and making sure things run smoothly.
Yeah.
And you're also very hands-on and involved here as well.
Yes.
You were here for a lot of the process as well for the building up of the business. And like we were talking about before we sat down with like the picking up the location and the intuitive side of things a lot of the
Yeah.
times also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long process, and it started out where we were looking for a location, and we kind of hit some walls because the vape industry and the way that we do our shop is that we're really catering to everybody that's trying to quit smoking. A lot of tobacco shops will carry a little bit of vape. There are head shops that carry a little bit of vape. So when we would try to rent a location, they would always tie us in with being like a head shop or a tobacco shop, and that's not what we are. We're a vape lounge. We're here to educate people on vape and to help them stop smoking, and eventually, if they want to, walk away from all of it. Right?
So you sell an alternative to smoking.
Yeah.
Do you sell any THC,
That was gonna be
Delta
my
8
next question.
type products?
I no, I don't.
If you had the opportunity to, do you think that's
I have the
He gets
opportunity
calls
every day. And I tell them no. And part of that is I have a wide range of clientele that come in, 20 somethings to 70 somethings, right? And part of the deal is we want them to feel comfortable when they walk in, right? And this is a process for a lot of people when they're getting off the cigarettes. And I've dealt with people that have been on cigarettes for 60 years. And it's like losing a best friend. It's a hard thing to do. And we want them to be comfortable, and we want to be able to guide them. When you come in to some of the shops, all you see is like a lot of glassware and bongs, and, and they don't feel comfortable there. And that's when we created this. We literally picked the colors of the walls to be blue to where it would be like mellow and comforting and welcoming. So we put a lot of thought in the way that we laid this company out.
yeah? And it's a beautiful location with plenty of artwork on the walls and seats and lounge areas, coffee, and
It's not buy and get out.
a loving hug every time you walk in and out by Steve.
Right, yeah.
And whoever else is here.
And whoever else is here. That's right. But so going back to the creation of Tribal Vapor and what it has evolved to there's laws that when you think about business law, people just think that it's some people think that it's just like business, but there's contracts, you have real estate, you have employment, you have tax, you have, God forbid, for anybody, bankruptcy. All of these things tie into business law and corporate formation. And so corporate formation, in order to start your business, you had to tell the states and tell the IRS, hey, I'm going to start a business, and this is who I'm going to be, right? So you created Tribal Vapor by doing through the Secretary of State registration and the Internal Revenue Service, getting a tax ID. I assume that was a pretty simple process for y'all.
It was very simple because you took care of it.
I took care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you ask me how you do that, I can honestly say I don't know. Call Simon.
Call Simon.
Yeah.
Simon will.
At iLaw.
Yeah. Simon at iLaw will tell you how to do it.
Right.
You heard the checklist. Call Simon.
Right.
Yeah. There's a whole checklist that goes into corporate formation where it goes from not only you have your the IN number, employer identification number. You have to do your Secretary of State formation, Texas Comptroller's sales tax and permit use. You have your company agreement. If you have partners or anything like that. All of that, all that encompassing thing. It gets it just becomes stressful if you don't know what you're doing. Of course, there's plenty of guys online that will take you there, and you may be able to do it, but
is it done properly?
it can and it cannot be. I mean, sometimes you need to be specific on some lines on the application. If you get it incorrectly, they reject it.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, I remember when we first started looking, we found another location and we thought that we were going to get that location. So we started filing paperwork and we had to redo it all.
That's right.
Yeah, because we were looking at another location and then this one came up. And I'm grateful that you took care of all that because we were busy doing everything else, you know. So it was
very
really
easy.
Yeah.
That piece was the easiest piece.
Yeah.
well
Because
for
we had
us
you-
because
for
you
you,
did it.
For
Yeah.
us.
I don't know
It
how complicated it
was for
but
you, but for us,
it
because
was
you
easy.
took care of everything.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, and it's
No,
What-
thank you, Simon. Thank you.
no, thank you. It's complicated. It's not. I mean, of course, I'm going to plug in that any attorney, anyone that has experience in business law can do corporate formation and whatnot, but it is definitely easier. And typically, most attorneys won't charge too much, to do that. But y'all got it for free, so
Yeah.
you're welcome.
That was great. Thank you.
It's a great part of the partnership
Yes,
agreement.
it was. Yes, it was.
But so we talked about real estate and finding all of that. Real estate, of course, there's contracts involved in that.
Well, you also have to, this is where my background comes into play, is the insurance side of everything too. You guys had to get a specific type of insurance
Most
because of
definitely,
what
yeah.
type of business you were.
And what's crazy is normally every year we have to find a new insurance company. So it's like an ongoing deal.
Why is that?
Well, because of the industry that we're in.
I see.
Yeah, but it's like I do have a broker that helps me with that too, but it's something because I'll get a notification like a month before going, hey, we're going to have to switch insurance, but it is what it is.
And there's the professional insurance, and then you have the insurance that's for the actual, place that you're in, because then that comes back into, you don't want to get sued if someone
Right.
slips and falls,
Right.
or if
Right.
something, the million of things that
Yeah,
can go wrong.
well, and it
inside
protects
of-
me and also the landlord too. So it's like,
Exactly.
Because anything can happen when Mercury's in retrograde.
That's exactly right.
Right, too.
That's exactly right.
So
I'm glad you're learning.
is Mercury in
No,
retrograde right
it
now?
is absolutely
That's
not.
why this communication is flowing.
Yes.
so
Flowing
well.
so well.
That's awesome. That's great.
I'm sure Lexi checked the dates before she scheduled this.
I'm not a rookie.
She knows what's up.
I checked the numerology on what we were
There you
doing.
go. There you go.
So today's actually Texas Independence Day if we're talking about numerology and dates. And so happy birthday, Texas, 1836.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Texas.
Texas.
God bless
the-
Texas.
God bless Texas, the best republic in the world. And
It is the
if
best.
you don't think that Texas is a country,
You got Tennessee to agree with you, so
That's exactly
There you go.
that's
right.
right. That's right.
She got here as quick as she
I
could.
did as quick as I could.
Yeah.
I followed Davy Crockett
Hell yeah. Thank you, Davey, for your
Yeah,
service.
for your
to
service.
for your
Steve.
service
Thank you,
at the
Tennessee.
Alamo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? We got another shop we need to be hearing about?
We're
thinking
working on
about?
some stuff that,
Okay.
that we're kind of excited about. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
That's about where I'm at. But
Good-
yeah,
good
we
luck
got
with
some
that.
stuff. We've got some stuff working. Yeah.
good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's been we've been here for 4 years and the growth has been amazing, and I think it's time to grow a little bit more. So
When did you realize that your dream of being your own boss and the two of you being the team that you are, that it set in and that y'all felt like y'all made it? Like
I
It's
remember
real.
it's
Yeah.
real and
the first
We're asking
year
'cause we're
was
still in the sweat equity.
the first year was most definitely the hardest because like I would for one thing, when we did our business plan, we kind of lowballed everything, but we were able to meet the goals due to that, and we always knew exactly how much it was going to take to keep the shop running. And the first year, I remember I'd have a slow day and I'd go home and I would just be completely freaked out. And I'm like, what have I done? Oh my gosh, we've taken our savings and put it in this place. And Susie would talk me off the ledge, and that's kind of, and then the first time that we went to do our taxes, and I remember our tax lady, she was like, we weren't in the red,
Nice.
which is very good for a company
Yeah.
for their first year, and we saw it being profitable and growing. And we had some stuff happen where growth slowed down, but we were still able to maintain, you know, and then
Well,
it's
during COVID too. I mean, because they
COVID.
closed us down during COVID.
completely.
But what Steve did was he took phone calls and he delivered and got new customers for that.
Yeah.
So it was very, I mean, COVID kind of helped us. I mean,
Yeah.
where other people, in fact, where other people weren't making money because of what he was doing, that
The second PP
we
loan
grew.
we filed for, and we didn't qualify
Because
because
we-
we were in the black, we weren't in the red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like we still stayed profitable, but that was a blessing too.
that was
you
a
know,
blessing.
so-
It was a huge
Yeah.
blessing.
But that's the difference of being the small business owner that owns and operates and is involved and is participating and isn't just an overseer.
Right.
Because you're here, 5-6 days a week, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm here 5 days a week now. Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
here, you're involved, you know your clients by name. A lot of them, you know what juice, because I know with me, I can just call you up and say, hey, Steve, I'm out.
We
My stuff is ready to go.
we really take a lot of pride. Our guys take pride in getting to know our customers, and we have this 3 steps in, 3 seconds in. You got to be greeted by the 3rd visit. You should know their name, but it's like we want you to feel as comfortable as you can when you're in here. You know, and that's the kind of experience that has people coming back. I'd rather you come in here 70 times and spend $7 instead of coming in here once and spending 100.
Yeah.
But also it's about being kind and gentle, and and all of our guys have been pretty amazing like that. Yeah.
They have been.
Yeah.
You do have a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Past and present.
very, very, yeah, most definitely. I think that they take pride in it. And they call it their own too.
Sure.
It's and that's with the guys that have worked here, and have moved on, and we miss them.
Yeah.
But and then the other guys too, they take pride in it. It's their house,
And you do some really cool stuff here too. I remember like the cloud competitions, and
yeah,
you do a lot of philanthropy. I said that correct?
yeah,
We try to give back. Like to Nexus, we did the toy drive. We did the coat drive.
Yeah.
We've done,
fundraisers.
Yeah,
for different people
for
and
exactly
organizations.
for
Yeah.
the stop the stigma.
yeah, stop the stigma.
For mental health.
yeah,
So I know because I've participated. We've been here with part of your guys' auctions
Yeah.
and raffles, and
yeah.
you guys
It's kind of cool to watch the community come together, and it's a good
COVID,
vibe. Yeah, for
COVID
sure.
shut down a lot of things, and so
We're
hopefully
gonna get it back.
we'll
running,
get it back
yeah.
running. But
We normally do like 3 or 4 events a year. We try to do one quarterly.
Can we expect one this year?
Yeah,
yes, you
Yeah,
can
most definitely.
absolutely.
So everybody, if you can hear us from the back, expect some more events this year. Sorry, we have Instagram going in the back, and
Yeah.
it's the microphone doesn't reach all the way over there.
yeah,
so
we
we want
missed
to make
that
sure
part.
they hear us
Yeah.
over there.
We missed that part too, Steve.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty clear skies in here today.
Most definitely, you can see
You
across the
can
room.
see.
You can see outside.
Yeah.
There's no clouds at the windows.
We'll
Yeah.
make it happen. So that's like what the mural is about too. You have it measured out for the
Yeah,
cloud
but people,
competitions and everything.
but you wouldn't know that unless you.
I know.
Look,
I
yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we kind of
The
camouflaged it to
arrowheads,
where,
that was
yeah,
really smart, I think.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did do that. Yeah,
Very slick.
yeah, yeah. There was a lot of thought put in the way we did things.
He
for
did
sure.
that.
Yeah.
He did that. That was
Great
his idea.
techniques, great designs. Everything is.
And everything's community. Even this was made by a friend of ours,
Terry
right?
Davidson.
Terry D.
Shout out Terry
Shout out
D.
Terry.
D.
Yeah.
Handmade, keeping things local, keeping things in the community, all about it. I
Yeah.
love it.
That's what small business is about. It's about local community. It's not about, there's major corporations out there and all they care about is profits. Not going to name any stores or any companies, but I'm all right. And so we have Tribal Vapors, is a great business, small business to sit down with, to see, to hear. I mean, y'all have been in business 5.5 years now, going on 6 coming November.
Yeah, that's crazy. Thinking about
Yeah.
Tribal
Yeah.
has been a LLC. That's nuts.
Has been an LLC. The juice, the juice,
Well, but yeah,
the shop being here, we opened in 2017.
we're in about
17?
4.5 years now.
4.5
Isn't
years.
that crazy?
18,
Yeah.
19.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So moving to another area of law, estate planning. So estate planning has to do with what happens to all of this if, God forbid, something happened tomorrow,
Right.
right? And so, and we're talking about, when it comes to a will or a trust, which one is better? Which way does a small business owner go? Which way does an individual that has maybe not as much, assets and liabilities and whatnot?
So we're gonna actually pull up what the beginning of a will looks like, so everybody can kind of see this. We're using the beginning of mine, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so a will is what you tell the world is what your wishes are, and of course it says that I am so and so. I'm married to so and so. I have these children, these grandchildren, and this is where I want this and that to go. And the will goes into probate, which is it goes to court, and the court will look at the paper, look at the signature, witnesses, and notary, and say yes, this is a good will, and these are the person's wishes, and with these wishes, let's go ahead and number one, pay all the debts off, and then whatever's left, to give to all disperse to all the beneficiaries. And so there's that will, which is on the screen right now. That's just the first part of many, many pages. And then of course there's a trust. And so the trust is where you say, this is what I want. Almost the same thing as a will, but it says, I want to put everything into an account, and we'll call it the ABC Family Trust. And that trust, once I or we pass, this is to automatically go to these people.
Right.
And so it skips the court step and it automatically transfers to them. Of course, it stays in the trust account until a trustee moves it and whatnot.
So I don't understand what's probate.
So we need to authenticate that the will was actually created and signed by the person.
So if there's a trust, it doesn't need to be validated because it's already in this special account.
Correct. It's already in a account, also known as a trust account, and they name more than likely a child, the oldest child, or the most responsible child, or their best friend as the trustee. That's going to help put everything where it needs to be for the beneficiaries. They're basically the ones that oversee the transfer process to all of them.
And that's usually for a more complicated situation.
Yeah,
where there's-
someone that has more assets, so it doesn't even have to be assets. You have a house. The house is big enough assets that, a trust is worth it. You're talking about probate. Attorneys take 1%, 2% of your total assets. So that's, in some cases, can be tens of thousands of dollars out of your to the attorney. To create a trust, it's not tens of thousands of dollars, and you skip that entire process. So, of course, a trust saves you money now and saves headache in the long run. It's just a lot more documents and a lot more, more steps to get it into that account.
Do you pay taxes on a trust?
You pay taxes on a trust once it is dispersed. So once it becomes a part of that person's property, then it becomes.
I thought inheritance wasn't taxable.
This isn't considered an inheritance. That's where the will is. A trust is basically it's a transfer of property
Oh, so like for
and estate taxes.
I gotcha.
So you wouldn't be paying inheritance tax, but you'd be paying like an estate tax.
Okay.
So there's a couple different options and that's where he comes into play, and he knows the differences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course, there's one that I just did recently, and they wanted to do a trust, and I would have done it for them, but it was just like, look, you really don't need it. You can, but for your intents and purposes, of course, go this way, and so that's what they did, and of course they were they're happy with the way they went. But with both plans, you still have other documents that go into it, which includes powers of attorney. Because once, let's say, instead of something happening tomorrow, but something happens and you're in a car accident, now you're in a vegetative state or you can't talk anymore. Well, who's going to make the decisions for you? And that's where powers of attorney come in, right? So you appoint, whether it's, your spouse has your power of attorney, or once again, your best friend, your
Lawyer.
no, never lawyer,
Um,
your most responsible
See, this is why we
child.
ask her.
You don't, because the lawyer doesn't really know you on that
Intimately.
personal level
Unless they're your
unless
friend.
you're your friend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there's of course the financial power of attorney. There's the medical power of attorney. How just a basic lawyer is not going to know what your medical wishes are.
Right.
So of course you want to do someone that's close to you. It knows how you.
all those.
Yeah, I've
You've
done
been a
that for
trustee
my
and you've been a power of
parents.
attorney.
Yeah.
But once they pass, then the power of attorney goes away. I mean,
Of course.
I'm talking about the durable power of attorney, not the medical power of attorney.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
technically both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they both go away, but yes, that's
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
Of course, you can with the medical power of attorney, you can still get medical records from, from the hospitals or whatever if necessary. Most of the time, it's up to 4 years after death that part, but you can't make medical decisions for someone that's unfortunately no longer.
Right.
But
And so we bring this up, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and it's one of those things where like, oh, no one wants to talk about it. No, it makes people uncomfortable and things like that. But I'm a crazy planner. I'm that person. Let me bring up the video. Sorry. I'm the crazy planner. I'm the person who's always wanting to just. I had so many health issues these past couple of years. I had 4 surgeries within a year. So the first thing I did is I turned to my lovely lawyer husband. I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's draft up the will. And he's like, we don't need. I was like, yes, we do. We don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea. I could have a reaction to anesthesia. Something could go wrong. They could find any kind of because they were going in to look for stuff, right? What if they find stuff where they're not supposed to?
Yeah.
You never know.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's sit down. And I've gone with him to be a witness for so many clients. And his least favorite part is my favorite part because I think it's hilarious. You know how they talk about how when people go to travel, there's the type of person that packs a week in advance
Mm-hmm.
and knows exactly what they're going to wear. And there's the person that waits till 30 minutes before the trip
That's
and
me.
shoves everything in the suitcase. And those two people marry each other. I have a running joke. There's the type of person who does not want to be hooked up to anything. Will come back to haunt you if you hook them up to something. And there's the person that's like, keep me alive no matter what, right? And those two people marry each other. And that part of the conversation of when we're doing these type of documents, they're always looking at us like, well, what do we do? And we're like, well, we don't make that decision for you. Like, we're just here to witness it.
Right.
And I always bring up, I was like, well, what I did, because I'm a crazy person, is I said 28 days. If it's good enough for the moon, it's good enough for me. So you give me 28 days. If I
That's very smart.
if I haven't come out of whatever state I'm in 28 days, pull the plug and do whatever else is in my paperwork. And that's my special instructions, right? And there's room for all of that because we don't do just the will. What all comes in the package that we do?
will, powers of attorney, disposition of remains, advance directive, which is the living will that you were just talking about, HIPAA release forms, guardianship paperwork for estate person. There's all, I
like
believe
what,
it's
this
11. The last one I did was 34 pages per person,
Wow.
roughly.
And so I look around here and I look at everything that you guys put into it. And then we started talking about like getting your guys' will together and everything. And I'm grateful that you guys are allowing us to prepare and become that next step of that intimate participation for you guys for
I think that's probably the biggest gift my mom gave me was to have her stuff in order, right? And it was a talk that I didn't want to have,
because nobody does.
but she sat down and she talked to me, and it was it was necessary, and she was able to tell me what her wishes were. So I'm grateful that she did that. There are times when Susie and I start talking about it and I don't want to talk about it, it's something we don't like to think about.
But I see it every day, and
Right.
I see it every day, and then I see families that have had issues, or and it's like, for my parents, I was their power of attorney, and then and everything was in order, so that when they passed, and that's a horrible grief in itself, but you didn't have to worry about the rest of that. You just had to worry about getting through the funeral and dealing with your grief, but the other stuff was taken care of. So that was a huge relief that they had already had that done. So for me, like, I can look at it like, yeah, because none of us are getting out of here alive. We all die. That's the circle of life, young Simba. So so but like, I will, but Steve doesn't, it's very hard. He's a sensitive little fella.
Yeah.
That's what Terry D says.
Yeah.
He's a
All the
sensitive little
time.
fella.
Yeah. Well, and because I've watched the other extreme of that too, because I have an aunt that she opted not to do anything, and it was kind of selfish, right? And I watched how her daughter was like literally devastated in trying to grieve and go through all this stuff and having no plans, right? So she was having to call family members, and it was like everybody kind of had to work together, but it was kind of unfair to the daughter because the daughter wasn't available to grieve the loss of her mother.
Well, and that's if there's only one child. But what if there's multiple children and different children want different things? Like, that's what happened with me with my dad, because when my dad passed, I wanted to take his ashes and go do his favorite things. I wanted to take him, and like, my dad loved to go golfing and he loved to go fishing, and he wanted to do that. So I wanted to take his ashes and take him golfing one last time and take him fishing one last time and go do this. And my sister just decided what was going to be best for everybody. And I didn't get a say in that because there were 4 siblings.
Yeah.
And so there weren't last wishes that were decided.
Yeah.
And so in the end, a portion of the ashes were given to me to do with as I pleased. And he was buried with my grandfather, but it took a year for us to get there, and there was a lot of sadness and strife and things that happened because there was multiple siblings.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have somebody's wishes, you kind of know
You
what
got some
wants
guidelines,
to be
yeah.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it removes a lot of the resentment and the anger and the arguments and all that too.
There's still arguments.
Yeah.
There's still siblings
Oh,
that are
yeah.
gonna be out there gonna be like,
Oh, death brings up some ugly stuff.
oh yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why putting the wishes down on paper, that stops all that.
Yeah.
And you can say whatever you want. That this is mom wanted. Well, here's a piece of paper that says what she wanted, and this is what she signed, and so this is what she wanted, not what you're saying. So let's go ahead and listen to what actually she said.
Yeah.
And even then, there's people that will go out there and try to contest the will and try to say this wasn't what you wanted. This is too old, or she told me right before she passed that she wants to give me this. It's not in the will that way, but you got her wishes are her wishes.
Well, no, because I was thinking, because Susie and I had a conversation, and you probably don't even remember this, and I told her that I wanted to be cremated and I wanted to be put in the ocean. And she was like, well, what if the boys want to go see you? And I was like, they can go fishing. But it's like, that's the way I felt about it. But, oh, yeah.
Go fishing.
Yeah.
Anytime they start to irritate them, tell them go fishing.
Yeah,
You want it in Cancun or where?
probably Cancun.
Cancun's y'all's
happy.
Yeah.
Y'all's happy place.
Our very happy place.
Yeah. It is.
That's it.
Well, we've come full circle. Thank you guys so much. I don't know, is there anything else that you guys would share or talk about? I know we kind of ended in a little bit of a dark spot.
No, it's
We're very grateful for you guys. iLaw has ever had all your lawyer needs, all your lawyer needs, and Simon and Lexi both personable. In fact, the recent thing that we had with the business thing that happened, it was boom, 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 and I mean it's still, and we're still working on this case that's going on, but always very simple and very easy to talk to. So we're very grateful for you guys in our lives.
Very comfortable.
Very,
Yeah.
even if you don't know them, they're very personable people. So
And thank you. We try to be responsive and full of communication, great communication with everybody.
And accessibility
And accessible,
is what we pride ourselves on.
We do. So thank you for that shout out. And of course, Tribal Vapor. If you're smoking, stop smoking. Come get some vape juice, some vape.
Come talk to Steve.
Steve will help you out.
Most definitely.
It's the
You have
guy.
the big ones, you have the small ones. What do you got right now? You got a tiny,
Yeah, you're good.
little bitty ones. So thank y'all very much for everything y'all do for us.
Thank
And
you.
for the community.
We
Thank
love y'all
you.
very
We love
much.
you guys
of course.
too, and thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
Thank
most
you.
definitely.
Thanks everybody. We'll come and do a live again in a few weeks or so. Yeah, we'll try
3
to
weeks.
we'll try
3
to-
weeks.
we'll try to do this every few weeks with a new topic. I believe the next one we're going to try to do real estate.
Yes.
And we are excited to have Sarah join us on
Nice.
that one.
Oh,
So,
that'd be
Nice.
good.
Oh,
That's
wait,
good.
we have a question. I have took her car in for an oil change, and when she went back, the car wouldn't even start. So it seems it did something besides just change the oil. Obviously, she is upset and needs her car back running as soon as possible for work. So they, if they have any claim.
thank you, Jonathan, for that question. Yes, it actually sounds like they checked the car without any oil in it, which locked the engine. However, there could have been that the engine was already low. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But yes, this does sound like a mechanic error, and there should be a remedy of them fixing it since they're the one that caused the issue. But if you reach to me, Jonathan, we are Facebook friends, and you have my phone number. I'll be more happy to talk to you about that.
Perfect. So thank you for the question, and we will be happy to reach out to you. Thank you, everybody who watched and who has been here with us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye.